So we all know that the Australian housing market is a complete basket case. Now we can all agree on that, eh guys? And when the feeble RBA governor, remember him, that Philip Lowe, saw the house prices were going to crash during COVID, he completely slashed interest rates and insanely put a rocket up the housing market. The RBA was willing to let banks lend out money like drunken sailors. Then when house prices were rising to the moon, Albo was elected, and he didn't see the rocketing house prices as sufficient. Albo, the person who has made a fortune out of property by the way, jumped on this opportunity to further pump the insane housing market. He didn't even give it a second thought. It didn't matter that he was going to lock a whole generation of Australians out of home ownership. It didn't matter that he was going to cause a rental crisis that was going to ramp up rents and make the homelessness problem an epidemic unseen before in Australia. No, none of that mattered to him. Albo was going to become the Australian Willy Wonka who handed out visas like confetti. Now, being from the UK myself, the Australian visa and the Australian passport was always something that was very hard to get. A person used to have extremely high skills to get into Australia, and there are so many people who would have chopped an arm off to get there. Who knew that in just a few years' time a Prime Minister would take power in Australia who basically had no respect for Australia? A leader who did not realise what a great country Australia is or was. A leader who was prepared to hand out visas to anyone with a pulse. All Albo sees is bodies, he doesn't see people. He just packs in more bodies and more bodies and more bodies because he knows that they will need a roof over their head, and he knows that this will create more demand for rentals, and he knows that this will push up rents, and he knows that this will then push up house prices even further. The damage that this was going to cause to Australians was completely irrelevant to Albo. House prices were going up, and that's all that matters. More Australians were taking on more debt and destroying their own lives, but that doesn't matter. What matters is house prices are going up, so the Ponzi's going strong. I honestly don't know why Albo's like this. I don't know why he doesn't mind that there are now homeless Australians all over the place. Now, there's been a shocking rise in just a few years in every city, and you just have to go and look at it yourself. It's a tragedy. For some reason, Albo's not bothered that all these extra people is putting immense strain on all the services. He's not bothered that the hospitals are being overrun as the population swells and the medical system cannot keep up. He's not bothered the hospital ramping is actually taking lives. All he's bothered about is the Ponzi. And the Ponzi's all good, eh, Albo? Or is it? Just look at this table from APRA. Now, there's a link to this in the description. Look at this section here that shows the non-performing housing loans or mortgages. Now, these are bad loans where the borrower has not been paying the mortgage back for a period of 90 days or more. And this is probably not by choice, it's probably because they can't afford to. If a lot of people don't pay back their debt, then this can put the banking system at real risk. So the non-performing or bad loans are at 1.08%. When it goes over 1%, the banks have to sit up and take notice. And when you think that in March 2024, the non-performing housing loans was 0.96%. Now, since then, interest rates have been going down. And even in that environment, the non-performing or bad loans is going up. So people really need to understand what's going on here, guys. This is not a good sign for the Australian banking system, but who would have expected anything else when they've been doing this to the housing Ponzi? And it doesn't take a genius to understand that if a lot of people don't pay back their debt, then this can put the whole banking system at real risk. And now here's the shocker, guys. The average mortgage size now in Australia is 660,000 Australian dollars. Let that sink in. That's the average. That's approximately $4,000 a month or more, depending on what type of loan you have. And that's on a mortgage on an average property, guys. Wow. So think about it. If that's only the average, there's a lot of people out there who have borrowed a lot more than that. So the Australian government and the RBA have caused this. What a total disaster. Pure negligence through pure greed. And now on top of this, the RBA have failed to cut rates this month. Now this will be petrifying to the overleveraged. What if this is actually as low as rates are going? And why wouldn't it? Because these rates are not even historically low. Anyone with half a brain can see that the problem with Australia is not the rate size, it's the debt size. So if the rates are as low as what they're going to go, or even close to as low as what they're going to go, then you need to watch carefully the number of non-performing or bad loans. There is too much debt in the system, and it will not take much for more and more people to fall over the edge. All it will take is a job loss, or even just a few hours cut, or a long-term illness. All of this pain's being caused just so a few rich older people like Albo and a few investors like Albo can get much richer, destroying whole generations just to keep the rich getting richer. And Albo pretends to be a Labour leader concerned about the working class people and the poorest in society. Come on now, let's be realistic about this. This guy doesn't care about the poorest in society. He's just like the rest of them, a rich man who only cares about becoming much richer. So yeah, guys, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on these bad loans. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers for that.